So, hello everyone, and welcome to SFTC Scholar. Today we are going to talk about decorators in Lightning Web Components. So, what are decorators? The Lightning Web Components programming model provides three decorators that enhance the functionality of a property or a method, while the ability to create decorators originates from ECMAScript. These specific decorators are unique to the Lightning Web Components framework. And what are those three decorators in Lightning Web Components? The first one is API. API is used to make a property or a JavaScript method publicly available or publicly accessible. To make a property publicly accessible, we use the API decorator on the field. Public properties serve as the component's API. Similarly, to make a method publicly accessible, decorated with API, public method also form the part of the component's API. To enable communication down to the containment hierarchy, owner or parent components can invoke JavaScript methods on their child components. We are going to look at this decorator, all the three decorators practically with an example as well. So let's proceed to the example. Here I have two components, parent component and a child component. Name of the parent component is as well parent component, and the name of the child component is API track demo. So we are going to look at this. I have added this component in a tab. You can look at here. We have a parent component. The parent component has a button, and we have a child component which is where it is only written child component and hello. So now we are going to change a property from parent component to child component. We have a child attribute, as you can see in the child component. We have a child attribute. The name is also child attribute, and we have decorated it with at that API. Now we are going to set this value, the value of child attribute from the parent. As you can see, initially we have set the value as hello. If I just remove this and save and deploy it, as you can see, and refresh it, and the value is gone. The value is not here. And even if we open the console, we go to the console, and I'll just refresh again. See, somewhere, yeah. Child attribute is undefined. All this is because I have enabled the debug mode in my org. So the child attribute is undefined right now. Now we are going to set the value from the parent component. So we have a parent component. Now I'll set it the value of child. As you know that LWC follows kebab case. So we are following kebab case. Now I'll deploy it again. And go to the org, refresh it again. So the child component, the child attribute is, as you can see here, it is hello and it is hello. Yeah. So this is how we set the value of a attribute or set the value of a property from the parent component in the child component. Okay. So now we are going to call a method or a JavaScript method from the parent component. How we are going to do this? I've decorated this method child method param from with the API at that API. Now we are going to call this method from parent. So I'll go to the parent component. Yeah, we can do one thing. I'll just change the value of child attribute to parent to parent. So it will be reflected on the UI or deploy it. In the parent component, what we are setting the value, we are just setting the value as this is a param. Okay, so let's check and refresh it. I'll just clear the console. Now, when I click this button, see what happens. As you can see, param in child. This is a param. So we have invoked JavaScript method from the parent to the child. Now talking about the next decorator. The next decorator is at the track. It, it is a very useful decorator when we are working with objects or arrays in JavaScript. In the past, the track decorator was required to make a field reactive. However, starting the Spring 20 release, all the fields in an LWC class are reactive by default. When a field value changes, that field is referenced in a template or in a getter of a property used in a template. The component automatically re-renders to reflect the updated value. If a field contains an object or an array, the framework monitors certain internal changes such as assigning a new value. The track decorator is still necessary in the following scenarios: to observe change in the property of an object, as I said, and to observe change in the element of an array. What track does and what does reactive means? Reactive means when a value of a property changes, it should reflect on the UI or in the template. So before Spring 20, we need to use add track with all the properties which we want to make reactive. After the Spring 20 release, all the properties in the JavaScript in the LWC class are reactive by default. But to observe changes in an object or an array, we have to use the track decorator. So we'll look into it practically. Let's see. So first I'll just comment down the parent component. We only need the child component right now. So I'll just comment it. So I'm just using the child component inside the parent component. Now let's see. And I'll deploy it first, the parent component. Then we'll go to child component. Here first I have an input tag. I'll just uncomment it. And I have a SLDS grid. So I'll save it and deploy it. What we have here is I'll change the value inside this input element and we'll see the difference between the reactive and non-reactive properties. I have two objects. One is decorated with at a track. I have named it as reactive. Another is not, so I have named it as non-reactive. And now we are going to change the values inside this object and let's see how they are reflected on the UI. So first we'll check the non-reactive one. So whenever a track handler method is called, the value inside the input element is updated to this value. This dot non-reactive dot data dot test. We are going to add a property test inside this object, data object, and the value will be set as event dot target dot value. So let's begin. We are going to uh, org. Let's refresh it and just close the console. Now we have this reactive, non-reactive. Let's see first the non-reactive one. I'm going to change the value. Hello, when something is not working. Let's check. Hello, SFPC family. It's still not working. Now let's check it with at the track. So here we have, let's just uncomment it and comment down the non-reactive one. Let's deploy it. Okay, now we'll check it. Again, refresh. Now let's see. Hello, I am SFTC Scholar. So you can see it is getting updated here. Yeah. So this is how track works. Now we have completed track. So now let's go to the third one. The third one is the wire decorator. So what is wire decorator? Lightning Web Components use a reactive wire service to read Salesforce data. When the wire service provides data, the component automatically re-renders. To configure a wire adapter or an Apex method, components use the wire decorator in their JavaScript class. Many people get confused while using the wire decorator, but I'll try to explain it very nicely. So let's go to our VS Code. So here I have my wire decorator. Let's see. I have created a separate component named as wire demo, and the wire decorator is here to call a apex method. We use wire decorator. Wired function is the alias for the apex method named wired method demo. I have this apex class having this wired method demo as the method, and if you want to pass parameters, first we'll call without parameters. So I'll just remove these parameters, save, deploy. I'll also remove the parameters from here. Just save and deploy. Oh, so sorry. And deploy. So this method returns hello. Whenever a method is decorated with wire adapter, the method is called twice. First, when the component is created, and the second time when the component is inserted inside a DOM. So we'll look into it. I've created a separate tab for this component. Let's refresh it and see what happens. As you can see, here we are. First in wired method, then directed callback is called, then again in wired method, again the wired method called, and the second time it returned something. What it returned? Hello. We'll also look at the, we'll just clear the logs and let's refresh it again. And here we have, this is the wired method. This is how wired method is used. We can write any logic or any Apex logic we want to implement in this method or whatever we want to return. Now we'll call this wired method using parameters. So these are the parameters, param SFDC scholar. We have to provide this same name here. This name, this parameter name should match with the name here. We can pass as many parameters as we want, as many parameters as the function needs. Use as a comma separated param2 something and comma param3, but we are only using a single parameter. So first I'll deploy this, then I'll deploy my apex class, and I'll refresh this component. As you can see, where we have, yeah, data, it returned hello SFDC scholar. So hello plus params, hello SFDC scholar. What I provided is SFDC scholar, and we'll also look at the log. Single log is created. Yeah. So this is how wire decorator works. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, click the black bell icon, and share this video with your fellow Salesforce developers or admins. Thank you.